When the senior managing director scolded Sophia for entering the wrong destination in the GPS, Sophia flinched. "I am so sorry." Her apologies reverberated gently, so submissive that it was difficult to think she was addressing her own brother. But the senior managing director increased his voice even further, as though he hadn't even heard her apologies. "You believe that this can be resolved with an apology. You've been let go. Or apologize while nude. There is a boundary, even for a fit of rage at his own sister, and he had obviously gone over it." I firmly squeezed my lips together. "Everything is okay. Calm down, please." The car became quiet at what I said. "I'm 30-year-old Ethan Miller. I am employed as a salesperson for a health food firm with its headquarters located in a provincial city in Tokyo. The CEO, who has a strong affection for his little town, had obstinately declined to have an office in Tokyo. However, this modest branch was created around 2 years ago after the senior managing director, the CEO's eldest son, persuaded them to offer their goods to businesses in Tokyo. Only 8 people work there, and it's a single story at a building's corner, a short distance from the station. Sophia Clark, the CEO's daughter, is the branch manager, not the senior managing director who had fought so hard for it. And there is a tight vibe in this branch today. There is a scheduled business meeting with a large corporation with its headquarters located in Tokyo. We are a relatively tiny corporation with a Tokyo location. Despite having a track record of sales in the provincial city where we have our headquarters and through internet sales, we are not well known in Tokyo. My accomplishment is the reason that such a company was given the chance to meet with a significant Tokyo company. However, it was really just a string of coincidental events. I woke up early that day for some reason, and I decided to walk to the office after getting off the train 2 stops early. I was strolling in a revitalizing mood, and the cool winter air felt nice. At that moment, I noticed someone crouched in front of me. I hurried over and gave the sweat-drenched person a back pat. It appeared to be a man in his 60s or 70s when I looked more closely. Sweat soaked his face as well. I offered the man an oral rehydration solution that I had taken from my backpack. Before I could even consider if it was acceptable for him to consume the entire plastic bottle at once, the man grabbed it out of my hand and drank it down greedily. After emptying the bottle, the man stayed in his crouched position for some time. However, after a few minutes, he turned to face me and grinned broadly. I was also relieved to see that smile. After finding walking to be rather disappointing, he moved to running, and it seems that his heart gave up. With an embarrassed head scratch, the man held up the empty bottle and extolled its virtues, declaring, "I've never tasted this before, but it's delicious." I clarified that, especially after perspiring, its zesty, revitalizing flavor gives you the impression that your entire body is being hydrated. It's one of my favorite products from our company. The man, listening to my explanation with a smile, pulled a business card from his jersey pocket. On it was the name of a company anyone would recognize, with a title, Chairman, written on it. He offered me a business meeting saying, "I'd love to recommend this to my employees." When I reported this to the head office, it was decided that I was too inexperienced to handle it alone. Of course, I understand that. I've only been working as a salesman at this Tokyo branch for a mere 8 months. This was not a deal I could handle by myself. So, to my surprise, the CEO and the senior managing director from the head office decided to join this meeting. Therefore, today was the most important day since the Tokyo branch's founding. A day to pick up the CEO and the senior managing director from the airport and head straight to the business meeting with the major corporation. On top of that, from the Tokyo branch, the branch manager Sophia would also be attending. This meant that our team for the meeting consisted of the founding family: CEO David Clark, Senior Managing Director Daniel Clark, and Tokyo branch manager Sophia Clark, and me, Ethan Miller, with only 8 months of sales experience. Well, shall we head to the airport, Ethan? Are you ready? Sophia's beautiful face looked towards me. A hint of nervousness was visible in her expression. I straightened my posture. "Yes, I'm ready," I replied, and Sophia gave a soft smile. "I know it's impossible not to be nervous, but this is a deal you secured, so just be yourself and let your personality shine as always." Her words made my heart tremble. Sophia always praises my personality. I don't have a grand personality, but I genuinely love our company's products and work with the desire to recommend them to many people. Sophia often tells me that this attitude is what captures people's hearts. I vowed to myself that today, no matter how big the other company was, I would, as always, introduce my beloved company's products without holding anything back. Waved off by the remaining members of the Tokyo branch, we headed to the parking lot. A pristine white sit-in owned by Sophia was parked there. "Come on, get in," she urged, and I sat in the passenger seat. "I'm sorry. I don't have a driver's license." When I bowed, Sophia smiled. "It's fine. You don't use cars much in Tokyo anyway." Saying that, Sophia straightened her back and placed her hands on the steering wheel. Just her profile was a picturesque sight. Sophia slowly started the car. First, we had to go to the airport to pick up David and Daniel from the head office. Sophia was driving with her eyes fixed straight ahead, but after a while, she spoke up. "Let me tell you a little about my family first." I nodded in agreement. I had met Sophia's father, David, once when I joined the company. I remember him as a well-built man with a dignified face. I was so nervous, I don't remember much. The CEO is a quiet type. He talks a lot at business meetings, but he's usually quiet, so I don't think he'll talk much in the car. But don't mind him. I swallowed hard. The car ride from the airport would have me as the sole outsider among the Clark family. It was impossible not to be nervous. "And about my brother Daniel?" Sophia hesitated, mumbling. "He's a bit strong-willed, and because I'm his younger sister, he can be harsh with me, but it's just how he is. So, I hope you won't mind that either." I let out a small laugh. Siblings don't hold back, do they? I have a younger brother too, and I can't count the number of nasty fights we've had. When I chuckled, Sophia let out a small sigh. "You're right. Family doesn't hold back when it comes to distance." The profile of Sophia as she said that, her lips pressed together, was somehow memorable. After picking up David and Daniel at the airport, the atmosphere in the car was instantly dominated by a heavy silence. It was as if my pleasant chat with Sophia had been a lie. In the back seat sat two grim-faced men, exuding an intimidating presence. I doubt they were trying to be intimidating, but I felt a strange pressure from behind me. Should I bring up a topic to liven things up? No, everyone else is family, so I shouldn't needlessly interject. As these thoughts went back and forth, I started talking sporadically about how much I use our company's products. David responded slightly, and from there, the conversation in the car became one where only he and I spoke, while Sophia and Daniel remained silent. I spoke while occasionally gesturing, looking at the rearview mirror, and behind me to be respectful to David. That's why I didn't notice the scenery outside the window and where we were headed. It seems to be that building. We still have about 20 minutes before the appointment. What should we do? While waiting at a traffic light, Sophia turned to the back seat, and Daniel opened the car window. "Wow, that's a huge building." "Wait, what?" Daniel, who should have been looking at the client's office building, raised a suspicious voice and fumbled through his bag. Then he shouted, "Hey, this is Building 1." A sudden roar made my heart shrink. "What?" Sophia let out a small cry. "The meeting today is in Building 2. It says right here. What's going on?" I also hurriedly checked outside and couldn't help but click my tongue. The building towering before us was Building 1, which originally served as the headquarters. But I had heard they recently bought a well-located building that housed another company, designated it as Building 2, and were gradually moving their headquarters functions there. Today's meeting was supposed to take place in that building too. What? But I entered it into the GPS. It was then that Sophia realized her fatal mistake. The GPS was pointing to Building 1. I hadn't seen if Building 2 was listed as an option when Sophia entered the address, so I don't know. Perhaps the information hadn't been updated, and Building 2 wasn't even an option. Both Sophia and I knew the meeting was at Building 2, but the GPS had been guiding us to Building 1 the entire time. If I had paid attention to the scenery, I might have noticed, but I was so focused on my conversation with David that I wasn't that considerate. What should I do? As Sophia stood there bewildered, a merciless roar echoed. It's not, what should I do? What are you going to do? If a company like ours is late for a major meeting like this, the whole deal is off. Do you understand? At Daniel's roar, Sophia cowed. I am so sorry. Her apology, so deferential it was hard to believe she was speaking to her own brother, echoed softly. However, Daniel, acting as if he hadn't even heard her apology, raised his voice further. You think an apology is going to fix this? You're fired. Or get naked and apologize. Even for a burst of anger directed at his own sister, there's a line, and he had clearly crossed it. I pressed my lips together firmly. It's all right. Please calm down. First, turn right at the next intersection. The light turned green, and I spoke in a deliberately calm tone to Sophia, who had started the car. What? Sophia's face showed confusion, but I continued without pause. After turning right, take a left at the second intersection. It's a series of one-way streets, so even though the road is narrow, there won't be any oncoming traffic. Please drive calmly. From behind me, a disgruntled voice descended. Hey, it's all one-way streets. What do you plan to do going down a road like this? Daniel, who was likely looking at the GPS, interjected with a suspicious tone, but I cut him off sharply. If you don't have a solution, please be quiet. I'm concentrating. At that, Daniel became furious. Who do you think you're talking to? Daniel's words trailed off mid-sentence. I glanced back to see David silencing Daniel with his hand. Be quiet. With that one heavy word, Daniel fell silent. David also let out a quiet sigh. Sophia was still confused. Are you sure this narrow road is okay, Ethan? About my previous job in administration, I offered a small apology. I'm sorry. I did do admin work, but my main job was being a driver. At the interview, I lied and said I worked in administration at a shipping company. I'll explain that later. I've used these roads many times for deliveries. Taking a detour on the main road will take time. The old road gets congested at this hour. It's a difficult stretch with residential areas and shopping streets, but please trust me. At my words, Sophia bit her lip and looked forward. Okay, I trust you. Please give me directions. Seeing the determination in her eyes, I began to give Sophia the next direction. And so, 5 minutes before the meeting was scheduled to start, we somehow arrived at our destination, Building 2. We were rushed into the conference room, where I fluently explained our product. Honestly, I was worried I'd be too nervous to speak properly, but thanks to the earlier commotion, I finished my explanation without any tension at all. Compared to that heart-pounding race against time, explaining a product I love was a piece of cake. Daniel provided detailed supplementary explanations about the scientific basis. Sophia offered the product at the perfect time, and David, a complete change from the car ride, told several witty jokes, creating a relaxed atmosphere. Thanks to all that, the meeting was a great success, as if the ride there had been a lie. A cheerful atmosphere filled the car on the way back. In that atmosphere, Daniel hesitantly spoke up. I'm sorry about earlier. I lost my temper. Before he could finish his mumbled words, David sharply rebuked him. That's your bad habit. You panic in emergencies, and you said some terrible things to Sophia. Sophia cut in on her father's words. It's fine. It was my fault. I'm sorry. At Sophia's apology, Daniel scratched his head. I went too far. I'm sorry. I felt a little relieved at the heartwarming family exchange, but David still sighed with dissatisfaction. Honestly, the next co can't be panicking in an emergency. You need to mature a bit more mentally. Is there something on my face? David's suspicious voice made me curious, and I glanced at the back seat to see Daniel's eyes wide with surprise. The next co, isn't that Sophia? At Daniel's words, both David and Sophia let out a surprised, "Ha! I've been grooming you as my successor at the head office all this time," David said, to which Sophia pouted. That's right. I've been told to support my big brother all along, and I've been working hard to get results in Tokyo. A single tear fell from Daniel's eye. But Sophia is so talented, and she even became the head of the Tokyo branch that I had been pushing for. In short, he had been jealous of Sophia, and at the same time felt that his own position was threatened. Is it okay for me to be listening to this conversation? Feeling out of place, I looked ahead, and Sophia gave a faint smile. I just worked hard at my studies, which I disliked, to support you, Daniel. That's what I was always told. At her slightly sad voice, David cleared his throat. If a family-run business relies on seniority, it will fall apart. I want you two as siblings to work together to make the company grow. At her father's words, Sophia grinned. Of course, I'm going to make the Tokyo branch as big as the head office. And with Ethan here, it's not just a dream, right? I was bewildered by the sudden mention of my name. At Sophia's challenging smile, Daniel laughed. Oh, that would be a great help. If that happens, our company will just keep getting bigger. Ethan, I'm sorry about earlier too. Please take care of the Tokyo branch. I couldn't even form words and just bowed. I'll do everything I can for this company. I renewed my resolve. With things to do at the head office, both David and Daniel ended up heading straight back to their hometown. After dropping them off at the airport and seeing them off, it was just Sophia and me in the car again. And then the question came. Why did you lie at your interview? Yes, that topic. I resigned myself and decided to talk about my past. I got my driver's license right after graduating high school and started working for a shipping company. At first, I did odd jobs while practicing driving in the city in a used car I bought, improving my skills. As I got older, I was entrusted with more jobs and became able to handle large trucks. But I requested to be in the delivery business. I preferred the delivery business where I could decide the route based on the day's cargo over route delivery where the path was mostly fixed. I was living a fulfilling life, prioritizing safe driving, when one day I slammed on the brakes for a boy who ran out in front of me. The boy, startled by the sound and the size of the truck, fell over. Although we barely avoided contact, the boy twisted his arm in a strange way when he fell and broke it. His mother was right behind him and apologized, saying it was her son's fault for suddenly running out. She said it was only this minor, because I was driving slowly enough for a residential area. But I couldn't forgive myself. I had fully anticipated that unexpected things could happen in a residential area on a holiday. I drove thinking that since I was behind the wheel of a truck every day, I couldn't be too careful, but I couldn't prevent it. I visited the child's house many times to check on him. His name was Leo Davis, and he was a very mischievous boy who loved cars, so I often brought small toy cars as a gift. His mother was apologetic at first, but gradually her face showed annoyance at my visits, and finally she told me, "Seeing your face reminds me of the accident, so please don't come back again." The shock of that moment is something I'll never forget. I felt like I had become friends with Leo. In fact, he cried a lot when I left. I thought that meant I was forgiven, but in reality, his mother couldn't forgive me. The thought that I had been thinking I was forgiven seemed ridiculous. I surrendered my driver's license and quit the shipping company. I thought I didn't have the right to drive, let alone make a living from it. More than anything, I had become afraid of getting behind the wheel. I realized that even if I was as careful as I could possibly be, accidents could not be completely prevented. So at the interview, I had already surrendered my driver's license, and I didn't want to be asked a bunch of questions. So I lied and said I was an office worker. I'm sorry. After finishing my story, I apologized while looking down, unable to look at Sophia's face out of guilt. Then Sophia pulled the car into a metered parking lot. When I looked at Sophia's face, puzzled, her eyes were filled with tears. What's wrong? As I panicked, not understanding what was going on, Sophia bowed her head. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. She apologized over and over, and my mind went blank. Huh. What? I'm the one who should be apologizing. As I tried to argue, Sophia cut me off. It was me. Sophia's words confused me even more. I was the one who told her to push you away. I told her to say, never come back. After saying that, Sophia turned her tear-streaked face to me. The person you had the accident with was my friend and her son. At that confession, my mouth fell open. What? No way. Why? Sophia sniffled and looked down. The mother's name is Emily Davis, right? I nodded. Sophia gave a faint, self-deprecating smile. Then it's confirmed. Emily came to me for advice. She said it was Leo's fault, too. But he keeps apologizing and bringing gifts every time, and I don't know what to do, so I told her to just push you away. You know how they say if you break up with someone harshly, they won't have any lingering feelings and can move on. I had just broken up with my boyfriend like that at the time, so I told her to do the same. And then Sophia bowed her head deeply to me. I'm sorry. Because of my irresponsible advice, you were driven to the point of surrendering your driver's license. I hurriedly shook my head. Please stop. It was my own decision. It's true. I couldn't forgive myself, but I would have surrendered it even without those last words. I was already too scared to get behind the wheel. Sophia let out a sob. How could I make her believe me? On an impulse, I rummaged through my bag. I took what I was holding in my palm, blew on it, and held it out in front of Sophia's face, opening my hand. On it was a small piece of paper that said, "Let's do our best every day with energy." When I was a delivery driver, I often made deliveries to our company. That's when I got a supplement from you, Sophia, as a sample. It was about 2 months before the accident. She slowly lifted her head and looked at me. It had 3 pills, and I took one on the spot. It might have been my imagination, but I felt my fatigue just melt away. I felt it was a waste to take the other 2, so I saved them for a crucial moment. After surrendering my driver's license and quitting the shipping company, I was at a loss for what to do when the sample supplement rolled out of my bag, as if it was telling me to notice it. I thought this was the crucial moment, so I took the supplement. It's a supplement to energize the body, not something to energize the mind. And yet, I'm a very simple person. The moment I swallowed it, I felt a surge of energy. I couldn't stay down. I went straight to the job placement office and was surprised. There was a job opening for that company. I thought it was fate. I thought what I was meant to do with the rest of my life was to spread the product that had given me so much energy. I'm simple. So that's what I thought. I took the last pill right before the interview, and I was successfully hired. Since then, this supplement has been like a good luck charm for me. I take out the regular product I bought for myself from my bag and place 1 pill in Sophia's palm. I'm happy now. Today's meeting was a huge success. So please don't feel guilty and cheer up. And if it's okay, I'd like to see Leo again. For some reason, ever since then, whenever I see toy cars, I end up buying them, and I've amassed quite a collection. I might make his mother, Emily, feel awkward again, but I can't forget the way Leo cried his eyes out at the end. Sophia nodded over and over again. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Please stop apologizing. I told you I'm happy now. When she still didn't seem convinced, I sighed. I am happy because right now I'm working for the woman I love. And today I was able to save that woman from a crisis. At my confession, Sophia's eyes widened. Huh. Me? I've just been confessed to by a man who wasn't even on my radar, was the look on Sophia's face. Like a deer in headlights. I wanted to at least be on her radar before confessing, but I couldn't bear to see the sad face of the woman I was in love with anymore. I'll work harder, so please don't feel bad for me. I want you to see me for who I am. I looked directly into Sophia's eyes and said it. Sophia's cheeks turned red. I'll think about it. I smiled. For now, that was enough. Energized by the blush on Sophia's cheeks, I changed the subject. Come on, let's go back to the office. We have good news to report. Sophia hurriedly looked at the rearview mirror. Oh, right. What should I do? I can't go back to the office with a face like this. Saying that, she rushed out of the car and into a nearby convenience store, and I watched her with an affectionate smile. Several years have passed since then. I'm at a large park with my friend's family. My 2-year-old daughter, Chloe, is being gently led by the hand by Leo, who is now in elementary school, to the small children's playground equipment. I glance over at the lawn and see my wife, Sophia, and Leo's mother, Emily, chatting. They finished their lunches and are catching up. Since the children were clinging to Sophia and Emily and getting in the way, I took them to the playground. Emily's husband is at work today. I was planning to spend a lot of time with Leo as a father figure, but Leo offered to play with Chloe instead. My heart warms at his kind, big brotherly nature. I'm sure he'll be a kind big brother to the sister who is now in Emily's belly. It seemed like I had no chance with Sophia, but after my unintentional confession, she started to become aware of me. And when I pushed forward with a what-the-heck attitude, our relationship developed into a romance. It seems that the assistance of Emily, with whom I had been reunited through Sophia's arrangement, was more than effective. She would often say things like, "There's no one as sincere as him." And at other times, she even gave Sophia advice like, "He's persistent. So, if you don't reject him harshly, he won't give up." It's true that I kept visiting Leo until I was harshly rejected. So, I can't argue with that. Our relationship started with a push from both me and Emily. But honestly, I thought it would be okay to take it a bit slower. That's because I was convinced that Sophia would be my future wife. She was a friend of the parent and child who were a turning point in my life, the woman who gave me the supplement that gave me energy, and the branch manager of the company that was the first to catch my eye when I was looking for a new job. Even if we had missed each other somewhere along the way, she was the woman of destiny. I was bound to meet her. So, as I watched my beloved wife laughing with a trusted friend, I was able to spend all my time playing with Leo, whom I had become close enough with to be like family, and my beloved daughter, Chloe. It's ideal for you. She chuckled like a witch in a high-pitched, malevolent voice when I took the assigned seat. There was a rustied folding chair and a wooden, mold-covered black table at the assigned seat. It appeared to be a dump because of the numerous trash bags and piles of outdated periodicals that were present. She still seemed to believe that I was impoverished. I now knew why Mom had urged that I go to the reunion. She wanted to give me a false sense of security so she could make fun of me the way she used to. I said, regret always comes too late, and made the decision to leave the location. The enormous misfortune and despair that would shortly befall her was beyond her comprehension. John Brown is my name. I'm 45 and unmarried. My life is satisfying since I earn a respectable wage and have a busy but enjoyable job. I grew up in a single-parent home and led a quite impoverished childhood after losing my father to illness when I was 5 years old. I wore shoes till they were absolutely worn out and couldn't afford new outfits. When I first entered primary school, even my school materials were given to me by someone else. In spite of this, my classmates were always friendly to me and never made fun of me. Throughout high school, that friendship persisted. I even believed that those joyful times would never end. But I decided to start working while my buddies were inevitably going off to college. After being unwell, my mother was unable to continue working. I defiantly disregarded her advice to attend college and join the workforce before anybody else. I was hired by a nearby factory to sort parts after I graduated. After that, I had a couple work changes until landing in my current position. I have no surviving family because my mother died when I was 20 years old. I'd assumed being a bachelor wouldn't be too difficult. I then received a call on my cell phone one day. It came from Ryan Smith, a friend of mine from high school. "John, it's been a while. How are you?" I smiled when I recognized an old friend's voice. Yes, a long time has passed. We last saw each other at your wedding, correct? Indeed. I appreciate you coming then. How is work going? Is everything going smoothly? Well, everything is going fine. I was transported back in time to my high school days when I spoke with an old friend. So, how is today going? In fact, we'll be getting together again next month. I am the coordinator. I take it you're coming. I don't know. I recalled a really unpleasant and terrible incident as I spoke with Ryan. What's the matter? Is it related to Emily? Yeah. Emily Johnson was a classmate who constantly harassed me. She was the daughter of the president of Johnson Industries, the largest company in town, and came from a very wealthy family. To her, someone like me, who looked the picture of poverty, was the perfect target. She mocked my appearance, belongings, clothes, and sometimes even my mother. One day in the classroom, she said, "Hey everyone, look at John's pencil case. It's made of cloth. Where did he get such an old-fashioned thing? It's unbelievable. Give it back. This is a keepsake from my dad." Really? Can't even afford a new pencil case. Your mom must not care about you. If it were my mom, she'd never let me carry something so dirty. Maybe you're not loved much. Emily's words made the other girls burst into laughter. I couldn't say anything and just bit my lip. Then she took my pencil case and threw it into the trash to hurt me even more. My dad says that being poor is proof of not trying hard enough. I'm sure your mom doesn't try hard either. They say that kind of thing can be passed on to the kids. I knew better than anyone how hard my mom worked. I couldn't stand her insulting my mother, and I lost it, raising my fist. Stop, John. If you react, you're playing right into her hands. Just in time, Ryan stepped in to stop me. Emily's parents were PTA presidents and had influence with the school board. Ryan knew that if I did something stupid here, it would only put me at a disadvantage. Though it was frustrating, I had to shove my fist back into my pocket. Seeing that I wouldn't hit her, Emily only escalated her behavior, and I remained her target until graduation. Thankfully, everyone else besides Emily and her group treated me normally, as a friend, which was my only relief. Unpleasant memories raced through my mind, and there was a moment of silence between Ryan and me. I heard Emily went abroad to study a while ago, so she might not attend. I can't be sure, but just come. You want to see everyone, right? Ryan's words made my chest tighten. As much as I looked forward to seeing old friends, I honestly didn't want to face someone who left such a bitter mark on my past. Sorry, but I need a little more time to think about it. Got it. I won't push you, but I'm hoping for a positive response. Thanks for inviting me, Ryan. I thanked him and hung up the phone. I was torn between wanting to see old friends and not wanting to see Emily, making it hard to decide. One day on my way back from an audit, I was drenched in sweat after walking around in 90 degrees weather, so I decided to take a break at a cafe along the street. I sat down and ordered an iced coffee. While I was waiting, the person sitting across from me spoke up. "John?" It was Emily, someone I could never forget. For a moment, I froze and quickly looked away from her. Memories of her various harassments flooded my mind, bringing up indescribable emotions. "Oh, hi. Long time no see. What a coincidence." I managed to squeeze out a response. And suddenly, Emily started apologizing to me. "I'm really, really sorry for what I did back then. I truly feel terrible about it." Her sudden apology caught me off guard. I never expected to be apologized to, after 30 years in such a place. I did some really awful things. I wanted to apologize to you for so long, but I couldn't find the courage. And now there's the upcoming reunion. I was worried that you might not come because of me. Tears welled up in Emily's eyes. She genuinely looked sorry. "I was studying in France until recently. I did volunteer work there and had a lot of different experiences. That's when I started thinking about you, John." "About me?" "Yes. I suddenly realized my past mistakes and felt ashamed. Then I knew I had to apologize, even if I wouldn't be forgiven. So I came back." I couldn't believe she returned to apologize to me after all this. I couldn't refuse to forgive her. "It's okay now. It was 30 years ago." When I said that, Emily's face lit up. "Really? You'll forgive me?" "Yeah. If you feel bad and apologize, I won't hold it against you." "Thank goodness. You're so kind, John. I can't believe I treated someone like you so badly." Emily said this while talking to me using animated gestures. Her exaggerated reactions, almost like a stage actress, made me smile a little. "But it's really a coincidence meeting you here. Do you live nearby, John?" "No, I just stopped by for work." "I see. I still live at home." I realized that this area was near my hometown. I hadn't been back in a while, so I didn't think much about it. "Oh, I have to go. Make sure to come to the reunion. I'm looking forward to it." "Yeah, see you then." With that, Emily left the cafe. Even though she had age, Emily had none of the venom she used to have and radiated a kind atmosphere. People really do change. I muttered to myself and immediately contacted Ryan to confirm my attendance at the reunion. And then the day of the reunion arrived. I met Brian at the station, and we headed to the venue together. "Aren't you supposed to be there early since you're the organizer?" "It's fine. I asked the others to handle the setup so I could talk with you." Ryan and I walked down memory lane as we made our way to the venue. Along the way, I told him about my encounter with Emily. Wow, I can't believe Emily said that. A lot happened, but I decided to let it all go. So, let's just enjoy today. However, as soon as we arrived at the venue, Ryan looked puzzled. "That's strange. The decorations don't match what we discussed." The place was adorned with flashy pink tablecloths, an overwhelming number of flower wreaths that looked like they belonged at a store opening, and large teddy bear figurines. The decor didn't suit the chic hotel atmosphere at all. It's got a unique vibe, that's for sure. Ryan immediately confronted another organizer to find out what was going on. Then one of the organizers, Michael Jones, spoke up. Actually, Emily suddenly said she wanted to handle the decorations. As an organizer, she said she would cover the cost, so we let her do it. I never thought it would turn out like this. But since she did it, we can't really complain. Michael said this with a wry smile, trying hard to defend Emily. I remembered that Emily was the daughter of the president of Johnson Industries, the largest company in town. I also recalled that Michael worked for a subcontractor of Johnson Industries. I had a bad feeling and exchanged glances with Ryan. Then a loud voice came from the back of the venue. "I've been waiting for you, John. I prepared a special seat just for you. Come quickly." Emily, already drinking, appeared with a flushed face from the alcohol. Unlike the last time, she had a mean look and the same malicious eyes as in high school. Several classmates around her gave me awkward smiles. The special seat was prepared in the farthest corner of the venue. "Come on, sit down without hesitation." It's fancier than the table at your poor house, right? Emily laughed loudly, and a few people gave forced smiles. It suits you perfectly. When I sat down at the designated seat, she laughed with a high-pitched, malicious voice like a witch. The table at the designated seat was wooden and black with mold, accompanied by a rusty folding chair. There were also several garbage bags and stacks of old magazines around, making it look like a dump. This suits a poor person like you perfectly. I'm so glad I insisted you come. This is hilarious. She still seemed to think I was poor. Now I understood why she insisted I attend the reunion. She wanted to lure me into a false sense of security and then mock me like she used to. I had to suppress my laughter at how ridiculous she looked, completely unaware of who I had become. As I thought about how to explain and surprise her, an idea came to mind. Regret always comes too late, I said, and decided to leave the venue. She couldn't possibly imagine the immense misfortune and despair that would soon befall her. I told Ryan that I was leaving and headed for the exit. Ryan was furious with Emily's behavior, but, as an organizer, couldn't leave the event. Why did it have to turn out like this? I'm sorry, John. It's my fault for not handling this better. Don't let her ruin your night. Let's enjoy it with just us. While I appreciated Ryan's words, I couldn't stay. I was disgusted with myself for not questioning her apology from the start and just wanted to leave. It's not your fault. Don't worry about it. It's surprising how much influence Johnson Industries still has. I had a feeling from the reactions around her that many of our classmates still lived in town and benefited from Johnson Industries. If they went against her, their own lives could be threatened. Because of that fear, no one dared to stand up to her. It showed just how influential the company was. As I was talking to Ryan, Emily's loud voice echoed for everyone to hear. Poor people are so pathetic. Don't you all agree? I no longer recognized her voice as anything but noise and watched her with a cold gaze from a distance. I'll bring her down from her high horse soon enough. That thought ran through my mind. Ryan, sorry, but I just remembered some work I need to do. See you later. Even on a Sunday? That's tough. Take care. I immediately got into a taxi and headed back to the office. The cab fare cost me $100, but I didn't have the energy to take the train. I started working alone in the empty office. I had an important business meeting involving $10 million the next day, so I needed to prepare. As I reviewed the documents, I couldn't wait for tomorrow. The next day, I headed to the meeting. Normally, a sales representative would go, but I decided to go alone at the last minute. I arrived at the meeting place, Johnson Industries. When I gave my name at the reception, I was greeted warmly by the president, Robert Johnson. Hi, John. I'm honored that the president himself would come for this meeting. I'd like to get straight to the point and keep this brief. My blunt response puzzled Robert. He must have wondered why I was so cold when we were about to discuss a $10 million deal. Once we were in the president's office, I got straight to the point. The deal is off. What? He looked quite flustered by my sudden statement. Of course, that would be the case. Even for Johnson Industries, they wouldn't want to let go of a $10 million deal so easily. What is the meaning of this? Why such a sudden change? I'm sorry, but we found a company that offered better terms. We've decided to go with them. Wait, you can't just drop this on us out of nowhere. Canceling the deal like this is incredibly unprofessional. Just as I thought, Robert had a short temper. He was known for kowtowing to people in higher positions, but being arrogant towards employees and subcontractors. There were even rumors that he would use any means necessary to get his way if things didn't go as he wanted. Your company is well rooted in the local community, isn't it? I'm sure the people around here benefit greatly from your presence. Of course they do. Our annual sales are $10 million, the highest in the area. However, our company aims to expand globally. Our policy is to increase dealings with companies that have a broader perspective rather than those that only operate locally. Hearing this, Robert seemed to have an idea and said, "In that case, my daughter Emily is our secretary. She's very talented and studied in France. It's the age of globalization, you know. Emily, come here." He called up to the secretary's office next to the president's office. Emily appeared, looking rather annoyed. "Dad, what is it? I'm busy doing my nails." "Come on, Emily, introduce yourself. You can speak French, right? It's all about globalization." "What? What's that? I only speak English. And what's globalization? Is that a new artist?" Robert turned pale at Emily's response. Emily was still looking at her nails while talking to Robert, so she hadn't noticed me yet. "Emily, how could you? What's the big deal, Dad? Why are you so worked up?" After dismissing Robert's words, she finally noticed me and gave a sly smile. "John, what are you doing here? Are you here to ask my dad for a job because you're poor?" "Sorry, but we don't hire poor people." It seemed Emily still hadn't realized how mistaken she was. Robert was completely exasperated by Emily's behavior. Ignoring this, I continued, "Thanks for yesterday. Today I'm here to cancel the $10 million deal." "What? $10 million? What are you talking about?" "As the president, I'm here to tell you we won't be signing the contract." Was my English too difficult to understand? As I said this with a smile, Emily turned bright red. She understood I was mocking her. "Dad, who is this guy? He's being so rude to me." "The company's secretary. So, Emily, you're the secretary, right? Any company that hires someone like you as a secretary must be pretty low level. I'm glad we're not making a deal." I spoke my mind calmly. No company has a future if they make someone who doesn't even know the meaning of globalization a secretary, even if she is the president's daughter. I suspected her study abroad was just an excuse to party without actually studying. "Don't be ridiculous. How dare you mock me even though you're poor? Dad, kick him out now." "Emily, this man is the president of Brown Corporation. Don't be rude." "Brown Corporation? Never heard of it. Sounds like a no-name company." Emily continued to look down on me. But with the next words, she would learn the reality. "The nail polish you're using, the manicure you're doing, even the clothes you're wearing, were all designed and sold by my company. Don't be ridiculous. I got these directly from France. They aren't sold in America." "That's right. We had them designed by French designers and sold in France. You can check for yourself." Emily, hearing my words, immediately took off her gown and checked the tag. "JB, could it be John Brown?" It must have been unimaginable for her that the brand she admired was owned by the very person in front of her. "Dad, is Brown Corporation really that big of a company?" "Bigger than ours. Our company can't even come close to theirs, no matter how much we try. You should apologize immediately." Robert quietly urged Emily to apologize, trying to gauge my reaction. But I had no intention of making any deals, even with an apology. Last year, sales were around $100 million, I think. $100 million. That's impossible. Emily finally realized that the person she looked down on as poor was far above her in reality. This can't be true. He was so poor he couldn't even buy a pencil case. His mother was sick, and he didn't go to college. How could someone like that start a brand in France and have annual sales of $100 million? It was understandably hard for her to believe. However, the turning point came when the company I joined after high school started handling fashion products in addition to industrial products like screws and bolts. I was chosen to be a member of the newly established department, and I began studying and researching fashion intensively, making proactive suggestions that became big hits. Driven by the desire to study fashion more seriously, I quit my job at 28 and went to France alone for language studies. While attending school there, I also learned about global fashion. After returning to the US, I started my own company with no backing. The beginning was tough, but by leveraging online sales and social media, I steadily built a customer base, leading to my current success. The brand business in France also thrived with the help of friends I made during my studies. In any case, please reconsider and sign the contract. I'm begging you. I refuse. Now, if you'll excuse me. As I stood up to leave, Robert clung to me, trying to stop me. Please wait. Our company is on the brink if you cancel the contract now. That was none of my concern. I coldly brushed him off, and Emily sharply protested to me. How could you treat my dad like this? You're awful. I'll return those words to you. You're the awful one. Emily was shocked by my harsh demeanor. Leaving the dumbfounded father and daughter in the president's office, I walked out of the company. A week later, I received a call on my personal phone from an unknown number. Hey, the company is about to go under. What did you do? The shrill voice belonged to Emily. She must have forced one of our classmates to give her my number. I have no idea what you're talking about. In fact, I'd like to ask you why the company's troubles are being blamed on me. Don't play dumb. You canceled that $10 million deal. Of course it's because of that. My dad has been running around like crazy ever since. Whether to sign a contract or not is our decision. That's how business works, Emily. Not satisfied with my response, she continued to accuse me. It's just $10 million. Just sign the contract. I'll apologize for what happened before, and we can call it even. Isn't that good enough? No, thank you. I will never do business with your company again. That's final. Realizing the conversation was going nowhere, I decided to end the call. But before I could, I heard a loud, "Wait," on the other end. I'm really sorry. I went too far, and I've been reflecting on it. I was just drunk and got carried away. I'm really sorry. Her tearful apology was desperate. But I wouldn't be fooled by the same trick twice. I heard you were aiming to become an actress, Emily. No wonder you're such a good performer. What? Emily's exaggerated reactions and crying scenes were just like those of an actress on stage. Actually, right after canceling the contract, I asked a few local friends about Emily. It turned out that after graduating college, she moved to New York to pursue an acting career and joined a talent agency. But she never made it big. Luckily, her family had the financial means, so she enjoyed city life without struggling. However, at the age of 35, she was advised to give up acting and find a different path due to her age, leading to her dismissal from the agency. Afterward, lost and unsure about her life, she once again relied on her family's wealth and went to France to study. Instead of studying French, she ended up spending her time partying. Her parents, fed up, called her back and gave her a token position as a secretary under their supervision. At 45, having grown into an ignorant and mean-spirited woman, her parents must have been at their wits' end. Why would you say that? I'm genuinely apologizing. John, you're being cruel. How long are you going to keep up this act? No matter how much you apologize to me, your company isn't going to be saved. Instead of wasting time on this, maybe you should help your dad. As I calmly said this, I could see Emily's frustration growing. Don't get too cocky just because you're a CEO now. What's this about $100 million in annual sales? It's just $100 million. Well, your company is 1/10 of that size. That's enough. You'll regret this. With those parting words, she hung up angrily. Emily was probably fuming with rage right now. Feeling somewhat relieved, I went back to work. A few days later, I got a call from Ryan, who told me some shocking news. John, did you see the news? Johnson Industries is involved in accounting fraud. It's all over the news. Yeah, I'm watching it. So it finally came out. Accounting fraud is when a company manipulates its financial statements to make its financial position look better than it actually is. Engaging in such practices indicates that the company is nearing its end. Ryan seemed to sense something from my lack of surprise. Did you report them? No way. External parties can't access the financial statements. It was probably an inside job. Indeed, the whistleblower was an insider at Johnson Industries. But I was the one who instigated it. Michael, who was an organizer at the reunion, worked for a subcontractor of Johnson Industries. Realizing this, I contacted him immediately and asked him to investigate Johnson Industries' misconduct. That's how this information came to light. Michael, always the responsible type who served as class president back in school, was deeply upset about the whole situation. Despite enduring unreasonable things in the past for the sake of his livelihood, Michael couldn't tolerate the misconduct of the main contractor. He quickly decided, along with a few colleagues, to blow the whistle. From there, it was easy. The fraud was quickly exposed, and Johnson Industries was in crisis in no time. After watching TV for a while, I received another call from Emily. What are we supposed to do? My dad went to the police, and the media are swarming around our house. My mom and I can't even leave. This is all your fault. Robert's misconduct has nothing to do with me. It's his own doing. If you had signed that $10 million contract, none of this would have happened. What's your goal in ruining our lives? By the end, Emily was almost in tears. This time, it didn't seem like an act. I'm really sorry for everything. Please do something to help us. I'm begging you. Despite her desperate tone, I felt no inclination to forgive. Like I said, regret always comes too late. Emily finally seemed to grasp the meaning of my words. I ended the call and blocked her number. There was no need to stay involved any longer. I felt a sense of relief, as if a weight had been lifted off my shoulders, knowing that I had finally achieved my revenge, after 30 years. After that, Robert, the president of Johnson Industries, was arrested for fraud. It was discovered that they had engaged in accounting fraud to secure substantial loans from financial institutions. Emily's mother, who was an executive, along with other board members, was also arrested as accomplices, leading to Johnson Industries' bankruptcy. The collapse of the largest company in the area sent shockwaves through the community. Emily, who had always used her father's power to act arrogantly, received no sympathy and became a target of scorn. With no one to protect her anymore, she was left with enormous debts and large compensations to pay to business partners. Even after selling their home and company assets, how would a 45-year-old woman with no skills or experience repay such debts? No one would help her, and she was met only with disdainful looks. For someone who once reigned supreme, the days ahead would be unbearably difficult. After that, she moved from her mansion to a cheap apartment with a rent of $350. To make ends meet, she took a part-time job at a supermarket 5 stations away, preparing deli foods. She worked behind the scenes to avoid being recognized as the daughter of Johnson Industries. However, never having worked properly before, she quickly struggled with workplace relationships and quit the part-time job within a month. Now, she barely makes a living doing day labor at night. If her apology at the cafe had been genuine, would I have gone this far? After thinking for a while, I suddenly realized something. It all stemmed from her own actions. Canceling the contract was a business decision and had nothing to do with her personally. The company's fraud was just a case of self-destruction. However, karma has a way of coming back to you. This incident deeply reinforced that belief in me. I hope she is now reflecting and trying to live a better life. As for me, I decided to take advantage of Johnson Industries' collapse. I bought the land where Johnson Industries used to be and established a branch office for my company, employing former Johnson Industries employees. I'm currently busy with the construction of the new office and setting up new departments. About a month later, I got another call from Ryan. I'm thinking of redoing the reunion, John. This time you have to come. Let me cover the cost. This time, I was thinking of asking Michael to be the organizer. Is that okay? Sure. But were you and Michael close? Actually, after that, Michael started working for me as a finance manager. I had admired his courage for blowing the whistle on his own company and wanted him to work with me. John, thank you so much for giving someone like me a chance. Let's skip the formalities. You're the organizer. Let's make this the best reunion ever. Michael and I shook hands firmly, and I went back to work. With the anticipation of the upcoming reunion, I felt even more motivated in my job.